Hi, Max here. In this video, we'll go over variables in GDevelop. So, variables are used whenever you want to store some information about your game. For example, maybe the player's health or the player's score. In GDevelop, a variable can live in one of three places. It can live in the scene, which is useful for things like a level score that is explicitly tied to a particular scene. It can live on the object, which is useful for things like enemy health that are tied to particular objects, in this case enemies. Or it can live globally, which is useful for things like, say, a player-selected username that needs to be accessed from everywhere within your project. Let's start by taking a look at scene variables. As you can see, we have here a basic platformer. However, when we go to pick up a coin, the score does not increase. We can fix this using variables. Start by going to the scene properties and then clicking on the Edit Scene Variables button. Here you can view all of your scene variables and also add new ones. We'll start by adding a new score variable and setting its initial value to 0. Then when the player collides with a coin, we'll add a new change a scene variable action, which adds to the variable score the value 1. Then we add a new action without a condition, which modifies the scene text object. We'll use the variable string function, which allows us to access a scene variable from anywhere, and then specify the score variable, and then finally put the text score in front using the concatenation or plus operator to join the text with the variable. Sure enough, our score counter is now working as intended. Next, let's take a look at object variables. Right now, our slime enemy does not move, and what we'd like is for it to move back and forth between these two markers. We can start by opening the drop-down menu on the slime object and selecting the Edit Object Variables option. This will give us a list of all of our object variables on this particular object. We can start by adding a new direction variable with an initial value of left. Then in our event sheet, we can add to the slime a text of an object variable action, which sets the direction to left. We call this when the slime is in collision with the left marker, and then we can do the same thing for the right as well. We can then use the text of an object variable condition to test the direction variable. When it's left, we'll incorporate our game logic for moving the slime to the left. In this case, adding a force and setting the flip state. And then we can do the same for the right direction as well. And now, our slime is no longer stationary. Note that while we've written all of the events ourselves for this example to demonstrate variables, there's plenty of great behaviors out there to do this for you. We should have a video on behaviors soon if that is foreign to you. Finally, let's take a look at global variables. Let's say that our platformer has multiple levels. If we look at the score as we transition between these levels, you'll see that it resets. While this may be what we want, we also might want more of a global score that stays the same when we transition between two levels. We can start by going to the Project Manager, where we will find the Global Variables button. Then we can add the score variable, much like we did earlier for the scene. Now all we have to do is change our scene variable action to the corresponding global one. And then replace our variable string function with the global variable string function. And now, sure enough, our score will carry on through a scene transition. Very nice. This has been Variables in GDevelop. For more information about variables, be sure to check out the link in the description to the wiki page, which goes a lot more in depth. Let us know in the comments what kinds of tutorials you want to see next, and I will see you in the next one.